Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's CoachFury here, and today we are back with a brand new Let's Play series for the new version of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball, Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 21, and we are going to be diving into the modern era, as you can probably see from the screen. We're going to be seeing if we can win a championship for the Philadelphia 76ers and that fantastic duo of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And it's going to be a challenge. We've obviously done a bit of a Lakers rebuild before in previous versions of the game, but in 21 I felt let's have a go. Let's dive in and see if we can, try and win a championship in the first season. Really is the challenge. For those of you who haven't seen the new version of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 21, I suggest you go and check it out. It's really, they've really put a lot of work into the UI now and some of the data sets and things that are in this game now. So we're going to obviously dive through that as we go through this Let's Play series. But the first thing I would thoroughly recommend for anyone who wants to dive into this game and wants to to play it is to go and grab the real world mod that's available on the Wolverine Studios forum that was produced by GM Games. As you can see, it kind of brings us up a level really, and we'll talk about it. But I mean, it's got you've got real player photos, you've got courts, you've got proper logos, and it just, my goodness me, this is the game that I feel is taking it to a next level with that mod. And obviously we're going to be going through it. We've got the Philadelphia 76ers here, and this is the team we're going to be playing in this Let's Play series. So let's just dive in and have a look at the team itself, see what we've got on our roster and what we're going to do. And probably the best place to start is probably with some of their elite players. Ben Simmons, a 6'10" point guard, pretty insane skills. He's a great inside shooter, passer, handler, defensive ability. Pretty much what you would expect from someone like Ben Simmons. He's not got the outside shooting, but that's very well documented across the NBA. And one of the new things they've added in this new version of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 21 is player types. So you get a real feel for what type of player they are as well. And you can see here some of the ones that are highlighted blue, which means that Ben Simmons has those player types. He's a playmaker and he's a defender, which you can see from the ratings. He's got really good passing and ball handling skills. He's an elite defender, really good stealer of the ball, pretty much as expected. As usual, the floor percentages and ball actions are all here, and we'll probably look through that as we go through the season. But yeah, Ben Simmons is a pretty good player, I have to say. No surprise there, really. And then obviously he's number two duo on this Philadelphia 76ers team is Joel Embiid. He doesn't have any player types, which is interesting. I was surprised by that. But looking at his statistics and ratings, yeah, I mean, this guy is a pretty elite player. Can shoot inside, outside, scoring ability, defensive ability. I mean, he is going to be an absolute monster for us in the post. 7-foot center who can pretty much do everything. I'm looking forward to see how he does. Certainly those are going to be the two guys who are the driving force behind this team. And obviously Tobias Harris, solid sort of wing forward player. Looks like he's got some good shooting ability and a pretty okay defender as well. And then obviously some of the other big names that are on here. I mean, Korkmaz was a draftee a couple of years ago. Just hasn't quite developed in the fashion you'd want, but he looks like he's a good shooter. Dwight Howard has signed on a minimum deal. Not quite the elite defender he was, in his prime. Still a good inside shooter and still can hold his own. Drawing fouls though, look at that 100. He's going to be able to draw lots of fouls in the paint for us and cause a bit of foul trouble there. I guess the other big guys who have signed on here, Danny Green has come over, an elite shooter. I'm surprised he's not got the shooting ability, but you can see here he's a great outside shooter. But you've got Seth Curry who has that sharp shooter ability, 99 outside shooting, and this team is very much set up to win now. Certainly, it's got the elite players in Ben Simmons and in Joel Embiid, and then basically they've just surrounded them, what it looks like, with some shooting and some defensive presence, which is kind of what you would expect. But this is the challenge. We're going to go through. I mean, I do love how they have the player photos and the logos in the background. It just really brings this game to life for me. And yeah, that's the 76ers team. Let's take a little look at our own ratings whilst we're here and what our goals are. So for those of you who've played this game before, you'll know that when you set up, you can either go into what's called like a sandbox mode where you can't get fired, or you can go into what's like a bit of a career mode where you can get fired if you don't achieve the ambitions which are set by your owner, which are these ones here. I've obviously gone for career mode, so we could potentially get fired if we don't achieve up, these expectations that have been set here. Obviously, we've got to keep Joel Embiid. We're going to do that. He's on the contract, so tick 1 is probably going to be achieved. And then obviously work towards the playoffs. Success is expected, so we are expected to be a championship contender, really, and get into the playoffs. So that's the goal that's been set by us. You can see here that also I've got my skills here in this nice sort of box here. I went for professional status, which means we're not quite 100 at everything. I think we're around about 50 at everything, if I remember. Around the 50. So we're not an elite GM, so we're going to have a little bit of fog of war, which is good. I wanted that. And this is the 76ers. This is how we're going to look. Let's take a little look at the contract situation then, since we've looked at the players themselves. One of the great things about this game and why I'm bringing this Let's Play out now rather than when it launched a couple of months ago is that now the NBA has started, the developer has actually updated this with the right rosters and the right contracts. So it's all in place, it's all set up as if we're going live from day one from the NBA. And you can see here, we've got obviously Harris, Simmons and Embiid, our highest paid players. Danny Green on that 1-year deal. Seth Curry on a pretty nice deal, actually. About $8 million a year. That's pretty good deal to get someone like him on. He's a specialist shooter, we know that, but that's pretty good price for him. Mike Scott as well, and then we've got the other guys. Some of the rookies that they drafted. We've got some options possibly to pick up on the likes of Maxey and Bibuli. I can't say that name. So we've got a couple of decisions we'll have to make later on, and then obviously Isaiah Joe. Their second round pick this year. So that's the team. That's how it looks. In terms of the strategy and rotation of what we're going to do for this game, been thinking about it, and I think we're going to go with a perimeter focus, which means we're obviously going to be very high on catch and shoot, corner usage. Pace is not going to be quite up there. I have brought the pace up on my own philosophies anyway, but we're going to do a mixture of a couple of things, but we're mainly going to be focusing on the pick and roll, catch and shoot, which is no surprise that we've got Embiid, Simmons, pick and rolls there. The use of the corner, because we've got the elite 3-point range that this team has, so we're going to see if we can utilize that. The other thing that I did consider was whether to go with like a more post focus and just keep dishing the ball into Embiid, but I feel with the current NBA philosophy, I just felt that wasn't going to be efficient enough for us to stay up in terms of pace with other teams. Obviously the 3-point shooting is pretty essential now, and volume 3-point shooting is the most efficient way to score points, as has been documented. And then on the defensive side, I'm going to go for the attack philosophy, and that's mainly because Ben Simmons is such a good defender at point guard for us that I really want to basically force people off that 3-point line and really, try and reduce that as much as possible, because other teams, as I've just said, in the NBA, 3-point shooting is a huge focus. And I want to force people into the interior because we have these two guys in the interior. We have, I don't know why that's not going. There we go. We have Joel Embiid, an elite defender. Dwight Howard, not the most elite defender, as I've said, but he's still got size. So I want to force people in there to have to try and compete with the guys in the centre against us. So the idea is we push people off the 3-point line, we force them to drive in, and hopefully Embiid will make it a difficult shot for them most of the time. So that's our plan, that's our philosophy for this 76ers team. That's how we're going to line up. Obviously the goal is championship from day one basically for us, and we'll see if we can achieve that. But I guess before we dive in and look at maybe playing a game or look at going through the season, let's take a little look at the magazines in this game. So you have several magazines that appear. Obviously you've got the draft one, you've got free agency, you've got fantasy hoops, which is quite a cool one actually. I do quite enjoy that one. And then obviously a season preview. So we'll go through these quickly. But free agency preview is just looking at free agents for next year. There's not a lot really to talk about in here until we probably get to the off season a little bit more. We'll probably bring that one back up then. The draft, obviously, not necessarily loaded yet because we haven't got to that point in the season. We're obviously start of the season. The fantasy one is quite cool, like I said, because it just gives you a little bit of like, as if you were looking at it from a fantasy team perspective. For those of you who play fantasy basketball, you'll know a little bit about this, but it kind of just gives you a nice snapshot of the top players in the league. So you can see here, Giannis is number 1, Doncic, Harden, Davis, Leonard are the guys they expect to get the fantasy points, and you can filter by position, which is really cool. So you can see LeBron is there, and some surprising ones. You've got DeRozan in there, Ingram. It gives you a nice little snapshot of like the top players, and then it gives you some under radar ones. Guys who might necessarily make a jump forward this year. You've got Zion. I mean, no surprise he's on here, but some interesting ones. Hero, for those who followed Miami. He's just was electric last year, wasn't he? So we'll. It gives you a little snapshot of the players, and again, having the mod and the photos and the images just brings this magazine to life, really. And let's take a little quick look at Zion. Actually, I haven't seen him. So yeah, not in terms of current, he's only 3-star, but potential to be a 5-star, and he already is probably. You could argue outside of the shooting, he's probably almost as good as Embiid on most things. Perhaps not on the defensive rebounding, free throws, or passing ability, but you can see he's probably going to elevate to that level if he carries on developing and doesn't get injuries in this Let's Play. But yeah, let's go and have a little look at the season preview then. So in the Eastern Conference, the number 1 seeded team looks like it's the Brooklyn Nets. Not really surprising, considering they've got that star potential of Durant and Irving. That's what the game thinks is going to be the 1 seed in the East. Then we've got the Bucks. Again, not really surprising because you've got Giannis and then just a load of shooting around him, basically. Interesting to see how this functions as a team actually in this game, because whether they'll let Giannis handle the ball a lot and then these guys will play off him. Be interesting to see how that goes. And surprisingly, the Hawks are the 3rd seed, I guess mainly because Trae Young, and just basically hoping that he'll put up 35 a night, I guess will be enough here. Running around sort of pick and rolls and things off of Capella. And then we've got the Raptors. Pretty much usual things. Siakam and Lowry are the sort of the 2 main focuses here. It's surprisingly, I guess the Wizards are quite high up on this preview. I'm guessing because they're thinking Westbrook and Bill will just carry this team. So that's going to be fascinating to watch, see how that plays out. Then the Pacers, team that's we've talked about in the league, but I mean they not really got the elite players, but they've got guys who function pretty well. Then the Heat, who are a surprise package last year, really with Butler and Hero. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Then the Celtics, probably one of the favourites in real life. Walker and Smart and Tatum and Brown, really good, balanced, deep team. And in us, we are currently down in 9th in the conference rank according to the game, which is surprising. I thought the 76ers would probably be like one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. But you can see here, this is probably how we are going to line up actually. With Milton, Harris, Embiid and Curry and Simmons, and then obviously likes of Green and Mike James off the bench. But yeah, we're quite low down. I'm genuinely surprised about that. Yeah, interesting. And then we've got obviously the sort of remaining teams that are probably not going to make the playoffs. I mean, I'm not surprised about some of these, to be honest. Teams that are either in a bit of a rebuild or a bit of a reshuffle in the Eastern Conference. And in the Western Conference, let's see if this one matches up to what I would think. So we've got the Lakers. Yeah, okay, current champions, no surprise. Adding Harrell is huge. That's a huge addition for them. Yeah, no surprise they're number 1. Then the Clippers, again, I'm not really surprised they are number 2. Likes of Leonard and Paul George carrying this team. Going to be fun to see how they do with the Lakers. Then surprisingly, I guess Golden State are back as sort of number 3 in this conference. Guessing they're hoping Steph Curry and Clay and co sort of Green's off coming off the bench according to this at the minute, but guessing they're hoping that these guys will make that step back now they haven't got the injury problems in this Let's Play, and we'll see how they do. And then the Suns, I guess look at that. Chris Paul and Booker maybe hopefully and Ayton carrying this team, but there's quite a nice little balance to that Suns team actually. I'm not surprised they are in with a playoff shout. Interested to see how Chris Paul does in this Let's Play actually. Whether he can help take the Suns back into the playoffs. And then the Kings are in here as well. Not a lot to say about them, to be honest with you. Fox basically, and Dallas is quite low down. I thought that Dallas would be higher with Porzingis and Doncic, but there we go. And then the Trailblazers, who pretty much a playoff lock in real life all the time. Lillard and Anthony and McCollum. And we've got the Jazz. Yeah, that I guess the Jazz success will really depend on how effective Mitchell is in this Let's Play. Then the Nuggets actually are quite low down. I thought Nuggets should really be like a 4th or 5th seed in my opinion. They're obviously not here, but then we've got the Rockets, who've basically got John Harden, John Wall, and Cousins. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch. See whether they can sort of function effectively as well. Whether maybe they have a philosophy change in this Let's Play, but yeah, interesting to see if Harden can keep this team in the playoffs. And then we've got the Pelicans. Basically sort of a bit of a rebuild with Williamson. Probably not going to make the playoffs. And then you've got the likes of the Timberwolves, who bit Karl Anthony Towns, and then a bit of everything else. Grizzlies. Joe Morant will be interesting to see how he does. We'll try and keep an eye on that. And then obviously the Spurs, who are pretty much in a bit of a rebuild, retooling phase at this stage. And then OKC, holding out the bottom of the Western Conference. So that's how it looks. That's how the preview is at this moment in time. I guess the other things to point out is let's have a little look at our depth chart and how I've set us up. So I have set us up pretty much how they've said in the paper. I've not done anything too drastic. We're going to run Simmons, Curry, Milton, Harris, and Embiid, and then our bench is going to be fairly deep, I guess, in the sense that we're going to run Korkmaz, Green, and Howard as coming off the bench, with a bit of Scott covering some of that power forward position, sort of that swing 4 position really for us. And then Joe's just going to take an odd point guard minute, but Simmons is pretty much going to run most of the point guard, because I'm not convinced that Isaiah Joe is going to be effective enough for us to play any more minutes. So I think what we'll do then is, first thing is, let's just get some of these guys down to the D League who are not going to play. So Maxi and Thibault. I'm not sure if Bradley can go down to the D League, but we will have a look. Because obviously we want these young guys doing some type of development. We don't want them just hanging around and not playing at all. So we've moved you down, and where are you? There is Maxi. You are down to the D League. Can we put you? Oh, we can assign Bradley down to the D League. So I think we will do that for now. Obviously, if we get injuries and things, we'll have to bring people up. But yeah, we're pretty much set. And let's crack on with the season then. Let's get to game 1 and see if we can win the first game of the season. So where are we? Are we playing? Yes. Oh, we've got a tough first game here against the Celtics. Can we beat Boston? So we're obviously going to let the AI run this, because I'm not going to do any of the benching. I just want to watch. So here we go. Game 1 of this Let's Play series. Modern era. Philadelphia 76ers against the Boston Celtics. 2 teams that you probably will expect to be competing for that Eastern Conference title and hopefully get into championship. But let's see if we can beat them. So we've got Walker against Simmons, Smart against Curry, Milton against Brown. That's a bit of a mismatch. And Tatum against Harris is going to be a fun one to watch. And I fully expect Embiid to completely destroy Thompson at this stage of his career. So here we are. This is how it looks. Again, this mod just really brings this to life. I love how they've added the logos in here. They've added obviously all the full jerseys, all the court logos, etc. So it just really brings it to life. And what you'll see is when we're playing through is we'll sim slightly fast later on, but we'll go a little bit slow to begin with. But you'll see that as players start to get milestones or start to put up points, as you see there, Jason Tatum getting the first couple, you get little pop-ups now, which gives you a little bit of a snapshot of how how the player's performing. So if the guy's missed a shot or something or grabbed that rebound, is that maybe like the rebound that's got him a double-double, or has he put up now like 30 or 40 points? It's great to see that now, and it really does bring it to life when you get to the later end of a game and it's a crucial playoff game. You can really get a feel for like if Ben Simmons has gone off for 40 points or Embiid has grabbed 25 rebounds or something, as the Celtics grab a steal against us there and go down the end of the court. It's not looking like a good start for us, but we will speed up until we get to the fourth quarter or something, until maybe we'll go through to half time, and then we'll do a bit of a recap. And if the game is close, we'll obviously slow it down at the end. But I think this has just sort of brought this game back up another level from last year, in my opinion. You had the mod with some of the images and logos, but you can tell that the community has really put a lot of effort in to make this feel like not just an indie game, but also to compete with the likes of some of the better GM games that are out there that have obviously got a lot more funding and backing behind them. So certainly is going in the right direction. Obviously the focus for us though for this one is to see if we can get the 76ers into a championship game. Focus will be on basically hoping that Ben Simmons and Embiid are enough to carry us, and Harris is sort of the third wheel here. Whether we have to make trades or not, I don't know. We'll certainly see as we go along. But we're behind quite early on against the Celtics here in this one. It's a big good test for us this first game of the season, to be honest with you, because I'd expect the Boston Celtics to be up there as probably a number 1 to 3 seed in this conference. So a good challenge for us. And it looks like we are getting pretty much taken apart here at this point, down by about 13 or so points. We head into sort of the back half of the second quarter here. I mean, I really like how the courts are all here, all the proper sort of layouts. You've even added the coaches and the bench here. Obviously the benches are slightly different now. We're in COVID, but it's quite cool to see that I know it's a fixed image, but it gives you a feel for you're actually watching this from a top-down view, kind of. Looks like we are going to go in quite considerably behind here at the first half, down by about 15 or so points. So here's our half preview. So player of the half was Jason Tatum, 16 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds and a block. Okay, that's a pretty good half for you, Jason Tatum. On our side of things, we have shot 26%. Oh my goodness me, 5 of 21 as well from 3-point range. That's not good. That's not a good start. Simmons 4 of 11, Curry 1 of 3. All these shots obviously from 3-point range. Harris 2 of 10. Okay, so not the best shooting start. That's probably why we are so far behind at this stage. We have just not been shooting very well. But let's get on. Let's go get the second half through. Let's see if we can bring this one back, or at least bring it close, and we'll obviously slow it down if it does become a bit closer. But we need to get that shooting up. Down by 10 at this point. Looks like we are going to struggle to get this one back, but our numbers are coming up a little bit as we come back down by 8 here. Oh, we're back down by, oh no, I was going to say 5, but then they put up points against us. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a fourth quarter resurgence here and bring it back for us. But 10-point gap has been pretty consistent through this game. 9 of 30 from 3-point range is not efficient, not effective for us at all. Oh, we're bringing it back slowly. Slight comeback here. 3-point game now. Oh no, it's down to 5. We might have to slow this one down in the fourth quarter here, guys. We are definitely... Oh, it's now tied. And you might see that there's some pop-ups of the player images here as well. If they get like triple doubles or double doubles and things, that's great. And we have taken the lead. Oh my goodness me. So the third quarter has been certainly very successful for us as we've pulled away. Oh my goodness me. Our shooting numbers have definitely come back up. Look at that. 42% now on general and 37% from 3-point range as we start to take a bit of a slim lead here. I will probably slow this one down with about 4 minutes or so left because it is about a 2-point game or some. So let's just get through this bit and let's slow it down a little bit here so we can kind of see the action. So we're up by 7 at this point. And it looks like Ben Simmons had a fantastic half. So's Embiid and Harris, actually. Our three main guys have both all put up 20 plus points. Ben Simmons with 24 points, 13 assists and 10 rebounds. He's on a triple-double for this game. So certainly the first half was a struggle for us, but this second half has certainly got us into this position to hopefully come away with a game one, win for us. Just speed up a little bit. We miss a shot there. Tristan Thompson grabs the rebound and they drive down and Teague puts it in for them. 3 minutes or so left. We're up by 9. We should hopefully be able to manage it at this point and come away with a win. Another couple of buckets will probably do it for us. Harris there with a good shot. He's now 29 points as we are up by 12. And a foul on the shot, but on Tatum there. But at least we managed to. And he didn't put it in for +1. It was 3 throws. Look, there we go. You can see Shake Milton first 20 points this year. Obviously, it's the first game, but they come up at different points in the season, and we get different milestones as well. So if it's got the full NBA, stats in here. So when players put up thousands of points, through their career. It does bring up and does tell you, which is a really good new feature they've added to this game. As we are up by 11 here with about 2 minutes left. I think this one will be over at this point. But who knows? Maybe the Celtics will make a bit of a comeback as we did in the third quarter. But hopefully not. Hopefully we go away with a game one win. As we run down a little bit of the clock here. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Into Harris, who puts it in. Now he's got 30 points on the night as well. And Smart just drains the three-pointer there. And it now goes into foul time. So we will speed up now to get to the end of this game. As we managed to sneak out the win here. We were terrible first half, but that third quarter certainly brought it back for us. And yeah, there we go. No surprise, Ben Simmons, player of the game with that triple-double. And that ends the first game of the season with a win against the Celtics, who are probably going to be up there in terms of our competitors for the Eastern Conference. And we will be back next time to see if we can get through some more games, some more of the season. But first win of the season is always a good start in any Let's Play. Who knows? Can we take the 76ers to the championship? Tune in next time to find out.